Hello everyone and welcome back to Mountain Art Reviews. If you've been a supporter and a fan of the channel, then you know that I typically do these reviews outside in nature itself. However, due to the restricting weather, I've decided to turn the channel into a hybrid. During your summer, springs, and fall seasons, I will be outside doing the reviews, but in the winter season, I will be inside doing the review going forward. That way I can still provide reviews to you all and be consistent throughout the year. With that out of the way, let's jump right into today's figure. Today's figure is going to be from BUZZmod. We have the Upper Moon 6 Daki. Now, I have had the chance to go ahead and take the figure out of the box and play with it for a second. And what I can tell you off of jump is that this figure is very fragile. Any female figure typically import is going to be fragile. One addition or one change that BUZZmod has made with their packaging of their figures, with this release, it seems that the plastic trays will no longer have tape on each of the four sides, which is a plus for me because it means I can just take the figure out, take off the tray, and get straight to the figure. In the past, you would have to cut the tape around the box itself, pull out the plastic tray, and then cut off the tape around each side as well before you can even reach the figure. So hopefully going forward, they're going to keep that so where we don't have to cut the tape. But that's just like a minor thing for me. So let's get into the figure here itself. Again, this is a very fragile figure, but that being said, BUZZmod is still continuing to deliver that high quality of replication from the anime. Okay, as you can see here, get some more light down on her here. Okay. You can see how great the figure looks, even here on this hair piece down all the way around. This is cloth here, and it has a posing wire, so you can get it any kind of pose you might want to have it in. The hair looks good here. Looks great. You have your green down to the legs. It's all very, very accurate to the series itself. So let's go ahead and get into the articulation. Again, as you can see, it's a very fragile figure here that easily popped off her torso. And it doesn't seem to snap into place, so I'm not sure how sturdy that's going to be. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into the articulation going from the head down to the feet here. So the articulation with this figure is like very limited and very fragile. This is a piece you kind of just want to have in your collection, maybe pose up every once in a while. Looking forward to seeing all the professional photographs out there. Take photos with her. So she can look down this much here. She can only look up this much, you know. This much here is about as far as you can go. You have a minimum head tilt. And again, the poses in for her head and stuff is just kind of not there, you know. Going down to the hair piece here, you have different joints here, so you can really have it flow really great. Her hair can flow good. Oh, see? Easily done. We're just going to keep this off for now. Keep this back here. Alright. So there you go. That's her head and her hair. Let's get down to the arms. First, we're going to start for our T-pose, which is no problem. There's a minimum arm swivel, minimum there at the elbow as well, forearm. She is single jointed. The wrist does rotate and hinges as well. But remember, you want to be very diligent when handling these figures because, again, these figures are very fragile. I've broken the arm and hand joints for Rengoku and for Tanjiro. So just be very diligent when dealing with these figures. Now let's move down here to the lower half of the body. Oh, let's see if she's got, you know, a little bit of movement at the ab crunch area, but again, it just pops off for me. There's our opposable wires again. So that's pretty nice. She looks like she's a great looking figure. Great looking figure. So let's get down to the legs. As you can see here in the legs, there's just like a little gap there that you can actually take this off. I'm not sure what the purpose was for this. I'm guessing so that you can have her leg get cut. And then you can actually take off this piece here. And they have, for whatever reasons, they gave the kneeling down piece, like with every Slayer you get, even with Akaza you got it, they have this as well. And you would just slide that in. Like so. I've been having trouble getting it in. That's how you would do it there. Yeah. So you can pose her up very good. I think my biggest gripe is the figure is so fragile. I mean, it looks incredible. You know, it's something you just need to pose pretty much. All right, so let's get to our legs here. She can hit the not quite 90, but very close. She does have her thigh swivel, so she can hit those different kind of poses. You know, minus her torso, of course. Seems to be double jointed at the knees. There's a little squeak there. It looks like she's not really able to hit the split all that good. That's about as far as you can go for the split. So there you go. And then lastly, let's see, we have her ankles here. That rotate. This actually hinges off. It's connected to the foot or the toes. So you have your toe pivot there as well. And you can extend it out. So that's about it for the articulation. You know, again, not the best work from BUZZmod, but in order for them to replicate this figure, this character from the anime, obviously they had to make sacrifices. The overall appearance of the figure is great. It does look very good. The coloring is very good. There's no QC issues with the paint as far as I can see. So yeah, that would be it for the articulation. Now let's move into accessories. All right, now let's go ahead for accessories. I want to really focus on the faceplates. So here we go. Here's our first one here. This one you can see she's like screaming. That's her screaming faceplate. This is the one where she gets her brother's eye. I can't think of his name right off, but this is the one here. Looks very good. Here's one with her upset, grinning. And then lastly, we have her laughing face here. Okay. All four look great. And then, of course, you have her standard neutral face there. Now, with this release, you're actually going to be getting 2 additional faceplates for Tanjiro. Here's one of him screaming. Looks really good. And then one using his Kaguri. Pretty much his sun dance. And it looks great. Okay. You are going to be getting 2 of these. Here's just one right here, but you're going to be getting 2 of those. And then let's take a look at the hands. Now, as you can see for the hands, you're going to be getting a total of 4 pairs of hands. The ones that she come with automatically, and then you're going to get your closed fist and then 2 open hands. So with the accessories in mind, there's not a whole bunch going on here, but there is enough to have the figure be a decent release, you know. So here we are, and basically here's my conclusion to the Daki figure review. Would I recommend this figure based on articulation and accessories? My answer would be no. But if you're going to complete the whole Demon Slayer line with BUZZmod and not Figma, then this figure is an obvious pickup, okay? It's not something that you can sit down and really toy with and play with and get into different poses unless you're trying to, you know, get a shot in, because it's very fragile. You know, most of the poses you can't even get in, and as you go to start the pose, boom, you know, her torso comes off. So, you know, those are just things to be mindful of when considering purchasing this figure. You know, if you're a photographer, you know, great, you take your shots of her every once in a while, but it's not something that you can really play with or take shots of every day unless, you know, you're dedicated and you're patient with it. I really like the posing wire for her. It looks good, and that's about all I can say for this figure, you know. Looks really good, but not something I would recommend to an average buyer. Thank you for watching, M.A.R.S. If you found this review informative, consider dropping a like. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.